Plaintiff Lisa Hodges claims the defendant kept her car for nearly a year without repairing it. She's suing for $2,100. Defendant Johnathan claims the plaintiff was hiding her car from the repo man. He's countersuing for $5,000 for storage fees.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Case 53 on the docket, Hodges versus Knock.
Okay, let's see what we have here. We have the plaintiff, Ms. Hodges. You are suing the defendant, Mr. Knock, in the amount of $2,100 for auto repair deposit, yes, U-Haul bill, and towing bill. And Mr. Knock, you are countersuing the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000 for unpaid storage.
Yes.
Okay, let's hear this.
My fiance purchased a BMW for me, and I have.
Do you want to stand up,
yes,
sir? You're okay.
He purchased a BMW for me as a gift.
So you purchased for your fiance,
yes,
this car,
yes,
and you purchased it from the defendant.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for a second vehicle for us, a luxury car.
Yes.
That was nice. So I found it on Craigslist.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
It was at John's.
Okay.
So
yes,
I didn't have money on me, so I left him a check as a deposit, and I came back with the car in 2 days.
Okay.
I took the car from his shop, had it repaired. After about a year of driving it, the car had issues, losing compression. So
But you were driving it for a year?
Yes. And then I took it to another shop, and then they told me what the problem was. I took it back to John because he would fix it for me for a cheaper price.
Okay.
So, and at that time, I had to order a motor. And so after I found, well, we were looking for a motor, which was hard to find for that vehicle.
Oh, so you didn't expect John to have the motor?
No, he didn't have one.
You were going to personally buy the motor, bring the motor over to John, and ask John to put the motor into the car?
Yes. Well, I took the car to him in November. Around, let's say, March, I found the motor. And then I had it delivered to his shop.
Where was the car staying in the meantime?
Well, I took it to his shop, and he told me to leave it there. He wasn't going to charge me no storage as long as he's going to do the work.
Did you say that?
In a situation like this,
yes,
I would order the motor myself, and I would order any other parts needed to do the repair.
Yeah.
I don't allow customers to bring their own parts, especially in a situation like this where it's a complicated car. That car sat in my backyard for basically a year. I asked them nicely to come and give me some money to get started on it. I have text messages going back and forth with them over the course of the year.
Did you give them a price for how much you thought? We'll deal with the storage later.
I ballparked the motor at about $2,500, maybe about $500 to $1,000 worth of parts.
Yeah.
And just so that when he takes it back, it doesn't leak anything.
Okay.
It does, you know, I don't like customers spending a lot of money and then having a car come back in a month later because it's leaking oil over the ground. I'm either going to do it right or I'm not going to do the job at all.
I get that. But you did want a deposit.
Correct. And they did not leave me a deposit when they dropped off the car.
Which was in October, November of 17. They brought you the car. They asked, you know, they said what they would like to happen. You gave it kind of a price, but then...
Yeah. And then they kind of like...
A deposit, but they didn't leave you a deposit. When did they finally come up with the deposit?
After I threatened them with certified mail. I sent that mail out in April of 2018, yes, and that's right here. And the story gets a little bit more interesting because when I did the DMV background check, I saw that there was a title loan on the car, and in my experience, whenever a car is left in my facility for a long period of time, and then it also has a title loan on it, which is basically a collateral-based loan against, and the value of their car is the collateral for that.
They go and borrow money from the bank or something.
Most of the time, they're hiding it from a repossession agency of sorts, and at that point, I just consider a car abandoned.
Is that true? You did have a title loan?
Correct. I took the title loan on the vehicle because it was registered under my name.
Okay.
And I also, the title loan, he called them to verify that it was a title loan on the vehicle. Yeah. It was in good faith. No payments was late. All of the payments was current and nothing. And as of today, we don't even have a title loan on the vehicle.
All right. So the loan is okay. I just wanted to see if it was a fact. It's not a factor in this case.
It's a done deal.
Okay. This is what it looks like so far.
Mm-hmm.
You bring him a car in October, November of 2017 and said the motor needs to be fixed. Could you do this? He's giving you a price, and he asks you for a deposit, and you don't pay him the deposit right then.
But I took the car there. He never asked for a deposit.
Right. So my question to you is, the car was there from November of 17 to at least April of 18. The car is there for almost 6 months.
By his request.
I did not
But you
request
didn't-
to work on that car.
You didn't put down a deposit yet. He wasn't working on it yet because you didn't give him a deposit.
We never had
So
a motor.
why did you keep the car there?
He said leave it there, but we never had the motor yet.
Basically, the car is sitting there on his property for 6 months and he doesn't have a penny.
But he agreed on that because
Did you say that he doesn't have to pay? And this is important, you're under oath. Did you say that leaving the car there, he didn't have to pay for that?
as long as he
No.
fixed
Of,
it.
of the storage?
I would never say something like that. I've limited parking. I don't let people just leave their cars on my property for months on end.
Why didn't you just give him the deposit to make this deal go through?
Because he was okay with me finding my own motor. He hadn't had a problem with that, and I saved myself $1,200 on a motor.
I get that, but then in the meantime, why didn't you give him a deposit in good faith? That's usually what people do.
But he-
Not because they have the product back yet, but because this will guarantee that he's going to work. Because wouldn't it be something if you found the motor and then he suddenly said, "No, I'm not going to fix it,"
And that's
you'd
what
be
happened.
out in the dark. So that's why you bring a deposit.
But he never asked for a deposit. I mean, when I bought the
He
car
is
from him,
6 months later, you still hadn't
but
given him a
I've
deposit.
been
I
in
didn't-
contact with him all along the way until I found the motor, and he never asked for a deposit.
Initially, I wanted a cash deposit covering the expense of purchasing the engine for the car. Then, after all these months went by, and it took me doing a DMV background check to find out like their physical addresses so I could send them certified mail and to all the lien holders, including the title loan company. Once I saw there was a title loan company, I said, look, I also need at least half of the labor up front, too, because this is turning into a situation I don't want to be involved in.
Did you ask him to come by and pick up the car?
Yes, multiple times. In fact,
Okay, I want to see that.
I told him, let me find this one. This is about where I'm fed up.
Oh, wait,
Excuse
I
my-
might have this here. Is this notice to claim vehicle of personal property?
Yeah, that's me making a reasonable attempt to let them know that there are storage charges accruing on
Okay,
the
this is a
vehicle.
notice that you sent to them.
Yes. As per South Carolina law, it's
According to South Carolina,
Title-
which says, yes,
yeah, Title 29, Chapter 15, Section
got
D.
it, I'm reading it right
Okay,
now.
yeah.
This is notification that you have 30 days from this date of getting this notice to reclaim the above vehicle recorded with you being the owner, etc. So you are getting notice that you should come and take the car back.
Correct. And
Because you're
immediately-
building up a
But
cost.
Your Honor,
Yes.
he's seen me on numerous occasions as I go by his shop. He never said nothing about a deposit, never said come take your vehicle out.
I mean,
But-
just stopping in and saying
And
hello.
then
doesn't
when I
really help
found the
me.
motor,
I mean, I need money to fix your car.
I went to him, you can't
Also-
fix a car you don't have a motor too.
Immediately when the notice came to the house, I signed for the notice because it was notarized, and
Yes.
I notified Anthony. I also went by John's shop the next day, and he said, hey, I need you guys to let me know what you're going to do. I had Anthony on the phone, and Anthony said we're going to fix it. In return, him and Anthony came to an agreement that he was going to fix the vehicle. I took Johnathan my credit card for $500.
Yes.
And he said that
wanted
he will
cash.
go ahead. He said he wanted cash. I said, well, I only have this credit card. He said, well, I'm going to charge you $515 so that this vehicle, I can start working on the vehicle because the motor was already there. I said, okay, that's fine. So I have a copy of
The invoice for the motor.
The invoice for the
When it
motor
arrived to him.
when it arrived there.
Okay,
I also
so
have
you paid, then in August, you paid $515.
Yes, sir, I
That
did.
was the first payment made.
correct.
But he still didn't work on the car.
And he still didn't work on the
sat
car.
there until we took it from there when he had it towed.
Yes,
How
sir.
much after you paid that $515 did the car leave the premises?
On August the 13th, Johnathan texted Anthony
How long?
and told Anthony that we needed to come and remove the vehicle because a letter was written to the Better Business Bureau in reference to him
Not touching the car.
touching the vehicle.
After it'd been
so
there,
that's
after-
what
after a
happened.
deposit.
And I have a copy of that, and he told us that we had to the close of business day that day on August the 13th to have the vehicle towed.
And he had
And
the motor since May.
I got off from work.
Why
and-
did you
Here's-
take in August $500 from them saying that you're going to now
wasn't
work
it.
on the car and then a few days later have it towed?
It wasn't in August that I took the money.
I
it
have a
was,
receipt.
It was It had to have been closer to the time that I sent out the mail, 'cause that was the only reason why they came and
Well, you
gave me
said-
any
I
money
have a copy
anyways.
of the,
When he
from
made the
my
payment.
debit, from where I made my, can I please,
Where is the car now?
on our property.
So you have your car
Yes,
back?
sir, we do.
You have your car back?
Yes, sir.
And so basically what this comes down to, whatever misunderstandings, the fact of the matter is that the only exchange of money that went on between you two was $500. You're saying that you ought to be paid for the time that the car was there, all those
Yeah.
months of storage.
Which is in excess of 5,000, but that's the maximum
Okay,
allowed.
But, Your Honor, this paper here says he's taking the $500 for storage. If he owed us on the car, then why he does take our car?
You have paid $500. You have your car back.
Correct.
You have countersued for $5,000, the
Yes.
limit, because it was stored there for so long. First of all, the $500 you paid is going to go towards the storage that the car was there. I find both sides really delinquent in being clear about getting the car fixed and you being overly tolerant, in a sense, for letting the car stay there with that kind of money build up. The $500 you paid, he gets to keep because that pays for at least some of the storage. I'm going to dismiss the plaintiff's suit, and I'm also going to dismiss the defendant's suit. Both suits dismissed.
Thank you.
If it was storage, he should have told us a long time ago.
Well, I didn't lose, but I didn't win either. I would not do business with them again.